Have you ever found yourself just laughing at a genuinely terrible movie online? Sharing memes about how bad it is, making jokes with your friends, but without ever actually buying a ticket to go see it? Well, why did a viral meme exactly like that cost a major Hollywood studio millions of dollars? Back in 2022, Sony Pictures released the superhero film Morbius, starring Jared Leto. It had a massive $83 million budget, but during its initial run it was a complete, critical, and commercial failure, bringing in only about $167 million worldwide. But then, something literally unbelievable happened in the deep corners of the internet. A completely fake, entirely ironic quote from the movie, "It's Morbin Time," went absolutely viral. People all across social media started pretending it was the greatest cinematic achievement in human history. They were jokingly claiming it sold more billions of tickets. Seeing this massive, undeniable wave of online engagement, studio executives thought, hey, we have a misunderstood viral hit on our hands. So they actually decided to re-release the film into over 1,000 theaters. And this was the result: $85,000. That's it. Despite millions of online memes, thousands of tweets, and endless social media engagement, the Friday re-release bombed spectacularly. The film averaged less than 9 viewers per theater. It turns out, the audience for the Morbius meme was made up entirely of people who never, ever intended to actually see the movie. They were just having a ton of fun mocking it, and this incredibly expensive miscalculation perfectly proves a modern business reality. Internet chatter simply does not equal financial transactions. The studio completely failed to recognize that the online audience was laughing at them rather than with them. Welcome to Zring. Today, we're exploring a fascinating and honestly kind of uncomfortable truth about our digital lives. We are unpacking the business of making people hate watch. In this explainer, we're going to look at exactly why your annoyance, your frustration, and your active dislike for piece of media is currently the single most valuable currency on the internet. Here's a quick roadmap for today. We'll start with the attention arbitrage paradox, then look at your brain on hate watching. After that, we'll map out the outrage business model, see what happens when the loop breaks, examine the accidental outrage era, and finally wrap up with the bottom line. Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1. The attention arbitrage paradox: why negative sentiment is a commercial asset. So, let's start by defining what we're actually talking about here. Officially, hate watching is the activity of watching something for the pure enjoyment derived from mocking or criticizing it, and it's a very real, incredibly widespread behavior. Think about a show like Netflix's Emily in Paris. When it first debuted, it was universally roasted on social media for its completely unrealistic plot and stereotypical characters. People literally tore it apart online, and yet over 58 million households started watching the series in its first 28 days. It became one of the platform's most watched comedies. Do you remember the original 2019 Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer, the one with that bizarre human teeth Sonic? It broke the internet in this massive wave of universal disgust, but it commanded millions and millions of views. So, the real question is, why do we eagerly consume the exact things we claim to despise? Well, this contrast brilliantly illustrates the core of the paradox. Just think about the behavioral difference between how we consume positive content versus controversial content. When you see something nice online, right? Maybe a beautiful landscape or a pleasant update from a friend, what do? You might give it a passive like, do a quick scroll, and move on. Your actual dwell time is super minimal. But controversial content, what some researchers jokingly call incompetence porn, that triggers an aggressive response. You share it with your friends so you can mock it together. You spend high amounts of dwell time analyzing all the little errors. You get completely sucked into deep, multi-thread comment wars. And here's the reality of the situation. Digital platforms absolutely do not care if you're happy, serene, or furious. They only care about your attention. In the digital economy, a view is a view. Historically, platforms even program their algorithms to treat high-arousal emotional reactions like an angry emoji as 5 times more valuable than a standard like. So controversial content mathematically guarantees deeper engagement and therefore far more ad revenue. But we can't just blame the algorithms for all of this. We actually have to look inward. Section 2. Your brain on hate watching. The biology of not looking away. So why does misinformation and hate travel so incredibly fast? It actually comes down to our evolutionary wiring. First up, we have the negativity bias. From a strictly evolutionary standpoint, the human brain is literally hardwired to prioritize threats over positive opportunities. In the digital landscape, a negative stimulus causes an automatic cognitive arrest. It's a phenomenon researchers call attentional capture. Second, and this is slightly more surprising, experiencing strong emotions, even negative ones like disgust or contempt, actually triggers the release of happy hormones in our brains like dopamine and oxytocin. This is especially true when we engage in this mocking behavior with our friends. It's a literal chemical rush. Then there's the psychological theory of social comparison, basically elitism. Watching others who we feel are somehow inferior gives us a very real rush of superiority. We're also driven by morbid curiosity, wanting to explore taboo or risky choices safely from a distance. And finally, tribal signaling. Hate watching is a highly performative way to bond with our own in-group by collectively pointing out how terrible the out-group is. But here is where it gets absolutely fascinating. Section 3. The outrage business model. The transactable outrage loop. Human psychology is ancient, for sure, but the way it's currently being monetized is brand new. The economics of hate watching are structured around this brilliant, if slightly cynical, tripartite business model. 3 distinct entities extract financial value simultaneously from the exact same internet argument. Step 1. The content creator monetizes the original controversy directly through ad revenue sharing and sponsorships. Step 2. The digital platform monetizes the increased dwell time, scroll depth, and ad load generated by the dispute. Literally every single disagreement in the comments creates a brand new branch of algorithmic distribution. And step 3. The corporate brand or studio just sits back and gets what they think is a totally free marketing machine. Rather than spending millions on traditional ads, the outraged audience propagates all the promotional assets voluntarily. They are drafting you to market for them. To show you exactly how lucrative this can be on a purely individual level, consider the influencer Winta Zissou. She openly admits to earning $150,000 a year purely by posting content designed to elicit hate comments. She leverages a tactic called rage farming. This is where she posts shocking opinions or structurally incorrect, highly frustrating tutorials across her social media. She knows for a fact that the compulsion people feel to correct her perceived incompetence will trigger a massive wave of angry replies. And those replies trick the algorithm into pushing your video wider, guaranteeing viral reach and massive ad payouts. Hate itself has literally become a highly sustainable, perfectly engineered business strategy. However, this system definitely isn't foolproof. Section 4. When the loop breaks, corporate failure modes. Let's examine what happens when giant entities completely misread the outrage economy. Because sometimes social media hype is just a complete illusion masking a massive commercial failure. Take the recent Star Wars series, The Acolyte. It had an astronomical budget of $180 million. That is a staggering $670,000 per minute of footage, costing nearly double the $100 million budget of the show Ahsoka. Now, analytics companies reported outstanding demand for The Acolyte based on massive social media engagement and very intense online culture war debates. But just like with Morbius, that online noise did not translate to a sustainable paying audience. The show actually garnered over 1 billion fewer minutes watched than other Star Wars series. The general audience, who were totally indifferent to the online shouting match, simply tuned out. This led to a catastrophic week-to-week viewership decline and a really swift cancellation. The outrage machine generated millions of clicks, yes, but it absolutely couldn't sustain a $180 million investment. Let's see how this builds into an even more severe corporate failure. The Bud Light controversy of 2023. On April 1st, Bud Light did a very minor $20,000 sponsored Instagram post with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. By mid-April, conservative celebrities and online commentators triggered a massive boycott, framing the single "Consent to the Influencer" as an attack on their core values. Faced with this immense digital backlash, Bud Light panicked. In late April, they placed marketing executives on leave and issued vague statements distancing themselves from the campaign. But rather than calming things down, this retreat angered the LGBTQ+ community and progressive allies, while completely failing to win back the boycotters. They wobbled. By June, Bud Light sales had fallen a devastating 28%. Parent company AB InBev lost its #1 spot in U.S. beer, suffered an 11% drop in its flagship Budweiser brand, and had its stock downgraded. Which brings us to a harsh new reality for modern business. Section 5. The Accidental Outrage Era. Why neutrality is dead. We have entered a time where brands no longer choose outrage. Outrage chooses brands. And here is the absolute core business insight you need to understand. Reversals destroy more value than original decisions. Whether it's Bud Light reversing course on an influencer or other brands pulling back on commitments after conservative or progressive pressure, the mechanism operates identically. The initial statement causes a backlash, leadership reverses course to appease the angry group, and the result is a total erosion of trust from both constituencies. It communicates a fatal message. This brand responds to pressure, not conviction. In the modern outrage economy, consumers can smell fear. They might forgive conviction they disagree with, but they will absolutely punish confusion and weakness. So the crucial question is, how do companies actually survive this environment? Well, marketing experts suggest a completely new survival guide. First, assume everything will be interpreted politically, even totally neutral design choices, like Starbucks removing ornaments from a red holiday cup or Cracker Barrel refreshing a logo, will be weaponized as cultural erasure by the outrage industrial complex. Second, build a backlash readiness plan before you launch anything. Decide in advance exactly who you will and will not appease. Third, be consistent and values aligned. Whatever you do, do not wobble. And finally, don't chase safe, chase clarity. Trying to be apolitical is now seen as inherently political. Trying to offend no one almost guarantees that someone will feel erased. Brands absolutely must be clear and intentional. And that brings us to the conclusion of our explainer. Section 6, the bottom line. Breaking the cycle. If you take away just one single thing from this entire analysis, please let it be this. In the modern digital economy, you are the free marketing machine, and you are powered entirely by your own annoyance. Every single time you leave an angry comment on a creator's page, every time you tweet a bad movie trailer to show your friends how awful it is, and every time you engage in a culture war debate over a brand's logo, you are working for free. Your biological negativity bias is being harvested. Your anger is a highly engineered, highly profitable product that enriches creators, platforms, and massive corporations. By understanding this transactable outrage loop, you can finally choose when and if you actually want to participate. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. What show, trend, or creator are you hate watching right now, and exactly who is profiting from your annoyance? Let that really sink in next time you feel the urge to leave an angry comment online. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this breakdown of the attention economy fascinating, please make sure to subscribe to Zring for more deep dive explainers that make sense of the business world around us. See you next time.